mining sector in Rwanda continues to be a very important contributor to economic growth and development of our nation. And in three ways. One is in employment. Currently, the mining sector is employing over 80,000 people, and that continues to grow. And in that regard, we see it as a major contributor to household incomes. Additionally, as an export-oriented sector of the economy, our focus always is on increasing the export revenues, which is important to our economy. And so we continue to give ourselves ambitious targets to increase this. And over the last 3 years, on average, $200 million of revenue from the mining sector. And last year in particular, we had a milestone of over 370 million. And we continue to give ourselves ambitious targets where in 2018, we have a target of reaching $600 million to increase to 800 in 2020 and $1.5 billion by 2024. So all these are milestones that we are always looking up to in continuing to contribute to the growth of this economy.
Are those figures really attainable? And what's driving your hope that you are going to achieve that?
Yes. These figures, we find them attainable because we are starting at a low base. We have always found that the contribution of the mining sector to the economic growth of our country has been minimal despite the potential. And so what we are aiming to do is to, as much as possible, push the sector closer to achieving its potential. And we have specific plans on how to get there. Number one, for example, is really to increase the productivity of the mining sector. We find that our sector still uses very low-tech methods with very low investments, and that is responsible for the low productivity. So with some investments in equipment, investments in skills and better methods, yes, that alone can add more than 50% to this. And we also are doing exploration, which is discovering new minerals that we did not think we had in sufficient quantities. So diversification is going to play a critical role in all this. And lastly, beneficiation and value addition. All this will continue to, we believe, add value to the amount of revenue we expect to get.
All right, I want to build from something you mentioned of investment. You have noted that there is limited research and investment in research and exploration, and said that you are going to step up investment in this. So could you shed more light on that?
Correct. Exploration is the bedrock for any mining operation. Unfortunately, the sector has not had sufficient investments in exploration, especially by the private sector, but also by the public sector. And so what we are putting in place is an exploration strategy that articulates the role of government and the role of private sector and the shared responsibilities in this exercise. We are already conducting extensive exploration of the country as a government. And we are also providing this information to the private sector so they can, based on that, to do more detailed exploration. And with the geological information that is being put together, we believe that it will be of interest to the mining companies who are looking to do business in the country. And we'll be going out there, making this information available, and we would continue to interest companies to do business in Rwanda.
All right. Like your figures indicate, you have exceeded the target, the revenue target, by over 50%. But what have you identified as challenges that could have prevented you from reaching even higher percentages?
Yes. The main challenge that we continue to have is the low productivity of mining companies, because many of our companies are fairly small, in some cases operating artisanal style of mining. And so that will be, has been number one. Number two has also been, over the last year, while prices increased and were very good, the response time of the mining companies to increase the volumes of export in response to the rising prices was not always very quick. And so we think that going forward, as the expectations look increasingly more robust than the years before, the companies are prepared and more ready to increase their production faster, and that will contribute to the achievement of our targets.
Fantastic. Finally, what is your response to the environmentalist complaint that you are not abiding by the environment standards sufficiently?
The mining sector is very unique, and especially its relationship with the environment. And so it's difficult to have mining activities that don't tamper with the environment. However, we always insist as a government, as a regulator, to ensure that every mining activity has a plan for managing the environment in which the mining activity is taking place, but most importantly on restoring it after that. Unfortunately, some companies have not done very well in this regard, and that's responsible for the comment you have seen. We are being very vigilant. We have put a lot of effort into the inspection. We have decentralized the activities of the mining board into all the districts of our country, where we have now, in some cases, up to 4 officials at the district level to inspect the practices. But knowing where we are coming from, the emphasis has been, one, on ensuring health, safety, and environmental standards of the mines, but secondly also education, awareness, and supporting the mining companies to make sure that they raise their bar in how they conduct mining with a view to improving their compliance levels.
Rwanda exporting finished mineral products. Is this something we can expect in the foreseeable future?
Absolutely, there's no question about that. In fact, in our policy, we strongly advocate for beneficiation and value addition of our minerals. And so we are currently running 2 projects, one on smelting tin, another on refining tantalum, and others in the pipeline, with a view to increasingly add value even to further steps down the stream. So yes, it is in our vision, and we have strategic projects to achieve that.